Okay, Sherry on Aspen, take one.
I moved to Aspen with Fred before he left us, and he wanted to uh, sing the nightclub scene there and make money off his music. And he did a bunch of that, but it came to where he wanted to move on to New York. And I did not want to move on to New York. We'd been there before, and New York was not my favorite place. Uh, when I was first there, I had panic attacks and upset stomach, and just New York was really hard. I got over it, and I got better and got a job. I had jobs, and I did well in New York, but I really never loved living in the city. So I stayed in Aspen instead, and I moved in with Greta Lum, who was a beautiful uh, mixture of black, Native American, and American, or Anglo. Um, she was really lovely, and she had um, an Asian husband, and her children were lovely mixtures of the three races. And I was their live-in babysitter, and Sarah was a baby. David was in preschool or kindergarten, I think, when I was started there. And we had a couple of rooms that we lived in the house, and it was a really nice setup for us for that period of time. Uh, at some point, Kenny, I took care of two children, Kenny and Susie, and Kenny got very jealous of David for whatever reason, and I was dismissed as the caretaker because she wanted to relieve Kenny of having to live with David. So we went from the babysitting gig to me getting a job with a company called Sport Obermeyer. It sold ski equipment and ski clothing, and I was their purchasing agent. And I did that for quite a while. And we lived in an apartment, and I dated a man named Bob Kesselring, who was son or nephew or something of the famous Nazi named Kesselring. And he was very careful about keeping me away from his family. He went to visit his family in South America once a year, and I was never invited. It upset me that I wasn't invited, but in retrospect, I understand he just really wasn't maybe proud of them, but he didn't want to bring that aspect of his family into my purview. Bob Kesselring was a ski instructor, and he managed to come up with passes for me to ski on the mountain in Aspen at no cost. People would buy the tickets and then get a broken leg and have 5 days left on their week of skiing, and he'd give me the leftover tickets. So I got lots of ski time at no cost. And occasionally I'd buy a 20-use pass, but for the most part my skiing was free. And they had a program for kids called Aspenauts, that kids under a certain age were allowed to ski the mountain for free every Saturday. So Saturdays were our ski day, and it was not it was an expensive sport, but they had ski sales, and Kes got me a really nice pair of skis at one of the ski sales at a good price. And we got David some good skis, and eventually Sarah and all of us would go out on Saturday and ski the mountain. And that's an expensive sport, and we got to do it for very little cost. It was a real treat. I loved living in Aspen. It was it's one of the nicest places on the planet, and we were able to do it in spite of the fact that it was one of also the most expensive places in the world to live. But we pulled it off and thoroughly enjoyed our time there. After about 8 or 10 years of Aspen, though, I decided I needed to go back to school and finish my degree and do something with myself. So we moved to Boulder, and I finished my double degree in English and sociology, and went on to the Colorado School of Law. And I got my degree. It's a 3-year program, but I managed to do it in 4 years, and they allowed that. So I took it a little easier than the average law school student, because I was raising the 2 kids. And I got good grades in law school, and I clerked while I was in law school to make money, so that I wasn't completely expensive. And after I graduated, got my law degree, I had a practice that involved a lot of mediation and some litigation. My litigation was mostly in family law and wills and trusts. And I think I was a good lawyer. I think I was a good mediator. I know I was a good mediator. And I enjoyed that practice until I was 65, when I retired. David and Sarah went to really good schools in Aspen, which was a real nice benefit. And then when we moved to Boulder, they also had really good schools. So the kids were fortunate to get educated in excellent schools. I'm not sure where to go from here.